I gave this in Toronto last year, so I apologize if you've seen it already. I'll try to extemporize a little bit, maybe. So Glue. Glue is the working title of a photo project I've been shooting since 2015, and I need your help. I started this at the Swiss Perl workshop, and I've always been fond of this photo. It's one of the first I took. I've got in the region of about, well, probably now, about 1,000 photos, and maybe I'm reaching the end of the shooting part, and I need to start thinking about the final form. So the way that we usually do this is we pick a selection of photos to form a long edit, and then filter it down into a smaller selection. This is also from the Swiss Perl workshop. That's Tobias Eiteke on the right-hand side, the author of the RRD tool. Also, this photo looks a little bit like an RRD graph. Some serendipity there. Then we figure out some sort of sequence, a starting point, a journey, an end point. This is Granada, 2015. That's Nick. And then, as part of a sequence, we pair images together, so those which complement or those which contrast. So, for example, this image from Orlando sort of fits with the next image. Anybody think why? Yeah, so there's kind of the perspective. There's lots of geometry happening in both photos, lots of squares and rectangles. Contrast of one person versus lots of people. But then I started to think about text and how can I, pair text with images, because that's what people often do in photo projects these days. What kind of text could I pair with photos from tech conferences? Code. So I came up with pairing snippets of code. This is an actual piece of code I wrote for our production system ages ago. It transforms an array of hashes into an array of arrays where each array contains values from the hash sorted by the original hash keys or the past order of columns, hash slicing. I renamed the variables here so it fits a bit more with the image, because the way you read a map is generally from the bottom to the top. So we have this chaos at the bottom that becomes ordered at the top. So it kind of fits with that image. This one, which may not be entirely idiomatic, Raku, I wrote this now 5 years ago. Does anybody know what this might be representing? Yeah, hopscotch. French Perl workshop, 2019, I think. I guess it would be nice to address this question. Can code be art? That's Stephen giving a talk in Granada, I think, 2015. So I've uploaded this module to CPAN, and I'd like it very much if you could contribute a small snippet of code. It doesn't have to be Perl 5 or Raku. It just has to be something you're quite fond of for whatever reason. Create a pull request. I'll add it to the module, and it may end up in the final photo project. You don't need to worry about it pairing with any particular, image, because a lot of this is serendipitous. You shoot so many photos that things end up pairing with other things, and if I get enough code, they all end up pairing with images. I now have a snippet from the dashboard of this DeLorean that will pair with this image. How do you solve the packing problem for camel-shaped objects? Carefully. Pack and unpack. A bit of sequencing there. Do you know why Larry added the hex and bitstring formats to pack? You probably do if you saw this talk last year, or you've forgotten. It's when he was working at the JPL and the Magellan probe was sending back bitflip data, and they needed to fix that. So Larry added the formats to pack, wrote an editor called Kibble, a pun on Kibble and Bits, and they fixed them. I think there's probably a couple more years worth of work on this project, maybe more, because often these projects drag on for a long time, but at least my projects, a bit like software projects. But I'm not aware of any photo project like this, so it would be unique, and I think it would document some history, and I think it would be quite cool. So contribute. Thanks.